I quit my dream job to move states with him so he could be closer to his kids. Helped build a relationship with his ex-wife, paid for family vacations. Then one day, I heard his daughter ask, "Is Miss Emily gonna be my new mommy?" He just smiled and said, "We're working on it. My name isn't Emily." That night, I packed his kids' bags and left a note. What he read the next morning made him fall to his knees. Let me tell you how stupid love made me. Or maybe I should call it what it really was, blindness. Willful, painful blindness. I was living in Chicago, working my dream job. I'd climbed up the ladder at a marketing firm. I had my own office, my own team, and I was up for creative director. That was a big deal for me. I worked 10 years to get there. And then I met Jeff. I wasn't looking for anyone. I met him at a business conference in Denver. He was sharp, confident, older than me by 8 years. Wore a wedding ring, but told me he was divorced with 2 kids. We hit it off fast. I liked how he talked about his children, Maya and Carson. He didn't try to impress me. He just seemed solid, like someone who knew what he wanted. We started dating long distance. At first, it was just weekends. Then it was every weekend. I'd fly to Nashville or he'd come to Chicago. He always said he couldn't move because of his custody agreement. He had joint custody and didn't want to disrupt his kids' lives. I understood. I liked that he was a good dad. Or at least I thought he was. After 9 months, he asked me to move. He didn't push, but he made it clear, he couldn't keep up the long-distance thing. He said he wanted to build a life together, that the kids liked me, and that we'd be a real family. He said, "I want us all under one roof." I hesitated. I told him my job was everything. But he said, "We'll figure it out. You can freelance. We'll make it work." Like a fool, I said yes. I gave up my promotion. Left my apartment, my city, my best friend. I drove 12 hours with my dog and my stuff in a rented trailer. He met me at the door, kissed me, told me we were going to build something beautiful. At first, it felt okay. The kids were shy, but polite. Maya was sweet and curious, always asking me questions. Carson kept to himself but warmed up slowly. I made sure I didn't step on anyone's toes. I never forced myself on the kids. I let them come to me. I asked Jeff before doing anything. I was always careful. Always respectful. And then there was his ex-wife, Jennifer. She was rough. Cold at first. Protective. Didn't like me being involved with the kids. I told Jeff I didn't want to cause problems, but he said, "You need to get to know her. If we're doing this for the long haul, she needs to see you're part of the family." So I tried. I invited her to school functions. I included her in birthday planning. I paid for a beach trip and even invited her and her boyfriend so the kids could have both parents there. Do you know how humiliating it is to spend $2,000 on a vacation where your boyfriend's ex gets the master suite? I swallowed it all. Told myself I was doing it for the family. Meanwhile, I freelanced from home. Didn't make much. Jeff said he'd cover things until I got back on my feet. But it didn't take long before I started paying for groceries, for the kids' clothes, for their school supplies. I noticed Jeff always forgot his wallet when we went out. I brushed it off. He said he was just stressed from work. I believed him. There were little things that started to bug me. He became more distant, even when the kids weren't around. Spent more time in his home office. Always texting but turning the screen when I walked by. Said he was just dealing with clients. I asked him if something was wrong. He said no. Just tired. One weekend he said he had to work overtime at the office. It was a Saturday. I offered to bring him lunch. He said not to, he'd be in meetings all day. I stayed home with the kids. That day would come back to haunt him. It was a Tuesday evening, a few days after that Saturday. I was in the kitchen making spaghetti. Jeff was in the living room helping Carson fix something on the Xbox. Maya was sitting at the table coloring. Out of nowhere, she looked up at me and said, "Miss Emily says she likes dogs too." I paused. "Who's Miss Emily?" "Daddy's friend from work. She came to lunch with us on Saturday." I felt like the floor shifted under me. "Lunch?" I asked. "On Saturday?" "Yeah," she said. "She has really long pretty hair. Daddy told her she smells nice." I nodded, holding my breath. "What else did Daddy say?" Maya smiled. "She asked if she could come over one day." Daddy said maybe, and then I asked if she was gonna be my new mommy. He laughed and said, "We're working on it." I almost dropped the wooden spoon. "My name isn't Emily." I didn't say anything that night. I served dinner. I smiled through it. I watched him laugh with the kids, compliment the sauce, kiss my cheek like everything was normal. But I was done. I was done being used. I was done pretending. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even confront him. I planned. At 5 a.m. The next morning, I got up. Jeff was still asleep. I packed 2 overnight bags, one for each kid. I filled them with clothes, toothbrushes, chargers, and books. I left them by the front door. Then I sat at the kitchen table and wrote a note. I made it short. Cold. Sharp. Just the truth. "Jeff, Maya asked me last night if Miss Emily is going to be her new mommy. You smiled and said, 'We're working on it.' My name isn't Emily. I gave up my life for you. I helped raise your children. I sat across from your ex-wife and paid for her meals just to keep peace. I paid for your trips, your bills, your kids' birthdays. And while I was folding your kids' laundry, you were planning a new future with someone else. The kids are with Jennifer. I dropped them off at 6. Don't contact me. Tessa." I put the note next to his coffee mug. Then I grabbed my bag, the dog, and walked out. I didn't look back. After I left, I turned my phone off. I drove to a hotel on the other side of town and paid in cash. I didn't want to hear his voice. I didn't want to see his name pop up on my screen. I needed to be somewhere quiet while I figured out what to do next. I sat on the bed and stared at the wall. It felt like I'd been hit by a truck. The shock hadn't worn off yet. My heart wasn't broken, it was dead quiet. I felt like someone had pulled the floor out from under me and I was still falling. Around noon, I turned my phone back on. 6 missed calls. 9 texts. 2 voicemails. All from Jeff. Then came the calls from Jennifer. I didn't answer any of them. By 2 p.m., I finally picked up when Jennifer called again. The first thing she said was, "Where are you?" I stayed quiet. Then she said, "I need to talk to you. In person." We met at a Panera. She looked exhausted and angry. She didn't sugarcoat anything. "Jeff showed up at my house this morning losing his mind. Crying. Said you left. Said he made a mistake." I waited. She didn't stop. "He told me you took the kids without saying anything, that he didn't know where they were." I was about to call the police. Then I saw the bags and your note. She pulled it out of her purse. She had it. My note. He had given it to her. He said you made it all up. That the kids were confused. That there was no Emily. I just stared at her. She pulled out her phone and showed me a photo. It was a selfie. Jeff and a young woman with blonde hair, sitting outside a cafe. He had his hand on her back. Maya showed me this. She took it on his phone last Saturday while they were at lunch. I guess he didn't realize. Then Jennifer leaned in and said something I didn't expect. You were too good for him. I didn't say it before because I didn't want to get involved. But now? He's always done this. Even when we were married. She looked tired. Like she had seen this story before. He cheats, then he lies. He cries, says it won't happen again. Then it does. You were the first woman I thought might actually fix him. I almost laughed. By the next day, Jeff had started telling people I abandoned the kids. That I overreacted to a misunderstanding. That I was emotional and unstable. Mutual friends in Nashville started texting me, confused. One said Jeff told them I'd been jealous of a new intern. Another said he claimed I made the whole thing up to punish him. I didn't respond to anyone. But I kept the receipts. Maya's photo. Screenshots of Emily's name on a Venmo charge Jeff tried to hide. A screenshot of a flirty message from her account on his iPad, he forgot to log out. Everything was there. And I saved it all. He wasn't just a liar. He was a coward. 3 days later, Jennifer called again. This time, her voice was calm. Cold. I'm filing to change the custody agreement. What? I said. I don't want him having that much time with the kids. He brings random women around them, lies, cheats. I let it go because I thought he was finally stable with you. Now? No chance. I didn't say anything. Then she added, if you're willing to testify to what you saw, what Maya said, I'll handle the rest. I didn't want to get involved. But then I thought about the way he used me. Used the kids. Lied to everyone. Made me the villain after I sacrificed everything. So I said yes. When Jeff found out I was going to testify, he showed up at my temporary place. I hadn't told anyone where I was staying. I still don't know how he found it. He knocked. I didn't answer. He knocked again. Louder. Then he started talking through the door. Tessa, please. Please just talk to me. I messed up. I know I did. But I love you. The kids love you. We can fix this. I didn't say a word. Then I heard him sit down. Right there in the hallway. I didn't even sleep with her. I swear to God. It was just flirting. I was stupid. I got caught up. I didn't mean for it to go that far. I thought I could handle it. But I wasn't going to leave you. He started crying. Full sobs. I told Emily it was over. I told her yesterday. She was nothing. You're everything. Please, don't do this. Still, I didn't open the door. After 30 minutes, he gave up. Later that week, Emily messaged me. I'm sorry, she said. I didn't know about you. He told me he was single. He said he had kids but wasn't seeing anyone. She said she found out the truth from someone at work. That he had told her I was his ex who refused to move out. That I was crazy and controlling. She ended the message with, I just wanted you to know, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I didn't reply. But I saved it too. Jennifer moved fast. Within a week of our last talk, she filed paperwork to modify the custody agreement. Jeff was blindsided. He thought she was bluffing. But when the court date came through and he got served, reality hit him hard. He called me. I didn't answer. Then he emailed me. I never wanted it to get like this. Please don't testify. You know I love those kids. This will destroy them. I messed up, yes. But don't let Jennifer use you to punish me. There was no apology in that message. Just fear. A few days later, a lawyer contacted me. Jennifer's. They wanted a statement. I gave it. Every detail. When he started pulling away, what Maya said in the kitchen, the picture on his phone, the money I spent. I included screenshots. Dates. Names. I didn't feel good about it. But I didn't feel bad either. I wasn't doing this to destroy him. He did that to himself. I just told the truth. A few days before the hearing, I got a message from another woman. Her name was Kim. She worked in HR at Jeff's company. I probably shouldn't be messaging you, she said. But I thought you should know. It's not just Emily. Not just Emily. Kim said there were rumors going around the office that Jeff had been inappropriate with at least 2 other women in the last year. One of them had complained. HR had it on record. They couldn't fire him because there was no proof of physical harassment, but he had been warned. And now, with Emily filing her own complaint? It's a mess here, she wrote. He's trying to act like you were just some jealous ex. But people are starting to see through it. Then something strange happened. I got a call from a local marketing agency. The creative director there said he heard about me through word of mouth and wanted to talk. At first, I thought it was a joke. But I went in. We met. Talked. He said, "We don't see a lot of talent come through here from Chicago. Your portfolio's strong. I'd love to bring you on part-time while we test the waters." It didn't make sense. Until I found out that the HR woman, Kim, was married to the agency's CFO. She had told him about what happened. And apparently, he decided I was worth helping. For the first time in months, I felt like something in my life was moving forward. I hadn't seen Maya or Carson since that morning I dropped them off at their mom's. Then Maya sent me a drawing. It came in the mail. No return address. Just a folded piece of construction paper with crayon hearts and stick figures. On the back, in her handwriting, "Miss Tessa, I miss you. Daddy says you went away, but I hope you come back. You make the best spaghetti." I cried for an hour. Then Carson emailed me. From a school account. "Hi. I'm not supposed to write to you. But I want you to know I miss you. Thank you for helping me with math. I got a B+. I didn't respond. I couldn't. It killed me. The day of the hearing, I was waiting in the courthouse lobby when I saw Jeff walk in. He looked different. Pale. Thinner. Like he hadn't been sleeping. He tried to catch my eye, but I looked away. The hearing wasn't long. Jennifer had everything, proof he lied about who was around the kids, my statement, Emily's message, even the HR complaints. When the judge ruled for reduced custody, every other weekend and no overnight guests unless pre-approved, Jeff lost it. He stood up and yelled, "This isn't fair. You're all lying. She's turning everyone against me." The bailiff had to tell him to sit down. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I just stood there, numb. After the hearing, I thought I could finally move on. But then I got one more message, from Emily. It was short. "You should probably get tested." No explanation. Nothing else. I stared at it for 5 minutes, then ran to my car and screamed into the steering wheel. That night, I went to urgent care. A week later, I got the results. He gave me an STD. A treatable one, but still. The kind that sticks in your head, even if it's out of your body. He didn't just lie. He didn't just cheat. He gambled with my health, my peace, my sanity. Something inside me snapped. I wasn't just going to walk away anymore. After I got the results, I sat in my car outside the clinic for a long time. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stared at my hands and thought, what the hell happened to my life? I had been a career woman. Smart. Independent. Focused. Now I was the woman who gave up everything for a man who cheated, lied, used me, stole from me, ruined my peace, and walked around like he was the victim. And now I had a medical record tied to him. That was it. That was the final line. I wasn't just going to move on. He was going to feel what I felt, fully. Slowly. Publicly. I wrote out every detail of what happened. From the moment I moved to Nashville to the moment I got that text from Emily. I included the screenshots, photos, messages from Jennifer, HR rumors, Emily's message warning me to get tested. I posted it anonymously on a local forum, but included just enough breadcrumbs that anyone from Jeff's office, or anyone who knew him, would connect the dots. People shared it. A week later, one of his coworkers sent it to me on Instagram with the message, "This is about Jeff, isn't it?" I just replied with a thumbs up. They posted it to the company Slack group. Not even 5 minutes later, someone forwarded it to HR. The same HR that already had complaints about Jeff. I got an update from Kim, the woman in HR who had reached out before. She said there was a meeting. A serious one. All women who had worked directly with Jeff were brought in and asked to share anything they'd kept quiet about. 3 more came forward. Nothing criminal, but enough to prove a pattern: touching arms, long stares, calling them sweetheart, late-night messages. Then came the online post. The one I wrote. HR called it a reputational liability. He was suspended within 48 hours. 2 weeks later, he was let go to pursue other opportunities. No severance. No reference. Just a cardboard box and an escort out. While I was gathering screenshots, I noticed something else. Jeff hadn't reported some of the freelance work he bragged about. Back in January, he mentioned doing consulting on the side for extra cash. He even joked that he didn't report it because he needed beer money, not taxes. Guess what I found? Venmo payments labeled consulting fee with company names and invoice numbers. I sent it all to the IRS tip line. I used a throwaway email. Attached proof. They never responded, but that wasn't the point. He now had an audit hanging over his head. I wrote letters to the kids. Simple. Kind. Age-appropriate. To Carson, "You're smart and you're strong. You'll do big things one day. I'm proud of how hard you worked on math. You don't need anyone else to tell you you're enough. To Maya, you have a big heart. Keep asking questions. Keep being kind. I loved cooking for you. Maybe someday we'll bump into each other again and you can tell me what you're reading." I sent the letters to Jennifer with one request: read them to the kids when the time was right. Then I blocked everyone tied to that life. I'm back in Chicago now. Got hired full-time at the agency that first reached out to me after Nashville. Turns out Kim's husband really did believe in second chances. My apartment is smaller, but it's mine. I bought my own furniture. My dog still curls up next to me at night. I don't date much. I don't want to yet. But I sleep better. I smile more. And I no longer question if I'm too emotional or too intense. I was a woman who trusted the wrong man. And when the mask fell off, I didn't just walk away. I made sure he'd never forget what he threw away. He tried to get a new job in town. But the story stuck. The local business community is small, and word travels fast. The anonymous post followed him. People whispered. He moved out of the nice neighborhood and into a cheap rental on the edge of town. He's only allowed to see his kids every other weekend now, and Jennifer requires written approval for everything. Emily blocked him. The IRS is still digging. And the last time I heard anything about him? He was trying to sell his couch on Facebook Marketplace. Someone asked if it came with lies and regret. I don't know who wrote that comment. But I smiled when I saw it. Because for the first time in a long time, I knew he lost everything. I just lost the version of myself that ever wanted him. And that was the real win.